where people are loading up, I will start loading up our pan and scan from Pedro. Start scanning.
Is Pedro going first?
No, but I mean, we're not showing anything that we're doing scanning pans on.
No. Nope. Join us for some unusual Neal Adams stuff. Well, I'm the only person on tonight, so we can go now. Thank you. Bye. I look like I have a giant animal in my head.
Your eraser head.
Eraser head.
So I'm saying you need like a very slim fitting yellow.
I'll see if I can find a pencil costume.
Very wide but very thin.
Right.
Stripes and then slate gray shoes.
I'll see if I can find a pencil out.
Stripes and then there you go. Slate gray shoes. Okay. See, my echo agrees with me. In here. I wish you could select more than one of your videos on here to delete, but you can only do them one at a time.
No, you can't stack it. Nope. I'm the only person on today.
That's pretty tragic. Everybody joined me earlier.
Well, maybe they thought that was it for the night.
No, I told them join us for Wacky Wednesday.
He's the first to comment. Let me just make sure. Yep, I'm here. Yep, I'm here. So I commented. Where is everybody?
Yeah, smart enough to leave 2 Tums over here for emergency use.
For emergency lasagna.
Emergency lasagna.
Are we going to shoot here anymore, or we're shooting in front?
No, you can shoot in front.
Okay.
All of these Wolverine cover.
Now you're asking.
Now you're being a
way
client.
too much, Pete.
But I did it. I made it.
I did it.
You don't have to do anything. You just have to put it in the queue.
So all you gotta do is Pete. Just all you gotta do is
you have to wear a hat.
I just got it. All you gotta do is from Pete.
And a sweatshirt. Hello, Thomas. Thomas Chung is with us. So we're just waiting for everybody to load in. Actually, everybody's kind of just coming on now. Ryan Torrance is watching.
Y'all have to do the slip and slide on your way home.
We're coming live from, where do you want to be? Hawaii?
Tahiti. I always told
Tahiti.
Elizabeth we were going to Tahiti.
Okay, Zia wants to be live from Tahiti tonight. We may just look like Eskimo City up here tonight. Where Dolan is watching. Pete's dressing up for our frigid freight area.
That was a bad idea.
Yep, that was.
Yeah, you might want to put on the sweater before the hat. There you go. Hi, Petey.
Okay. Are we starting?
We have already started. We have
Oh, dear.
7 people on.
Well,
Oh, no.
we're letting people load up if they choose to load up.
Can't adjust.
And to adjust it, all you gotta do is.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. That was Marilyn. You can't adjust. And Andrea Duran, the birthday girl, is on with us tonight.
Happy birthday to you.
Yep, Marilyn. It is cold by the freight because the freight leads to outside. So the draft of the freight comes right up our freight doors. So
What?
even though I have
How do I do
80-degree heater running above us, you still get the cold wind that comes up the freight. So it does get cold up here. And it's nighttime with no sun anymore. So it is a little cold up here tonight.
Here in the frozen tundra.
And Andrea says, thank you, ladies. And Pete's settling in. We're up to 8 people on
I have to
Facebook.
come and show my hat since you're showing yours.
Everybody has to show their hat.
You come in.
Over
I
here,
have to
Z.
get past all the tangled web I weave over here.
This is for Andrea's birthday.
Happy birthday, Andrea.
You're not in the camera.
I am.
No, you're not.
You're behind, Dippy. I'm right next to you.
Oh.
My octopus.
Z went for orange tonight.
Yep.
I'm wearing.
Chris is looking like an eraser.
This is known as Chris's racer hat. It only comes out on really cold days.
Super cold days.
Super cold days. Otherwise, I overheat and pass out in it. And Pete is in
That stuff in.
Sergeant Rock tonight.
Joe Kubert.
Joe Kubert. We're wearing Joe Kubert tonight. Rich is not with us tonight, even though I thought Rich was going to be with us tonight because Rich had a family emergency tonight. So we are -1 tonight. So we're up to 13. We'll wait like another 2 minutes and then we'll get this going. So this is our weird Wednesdays. Weird Wednesdays. So Weird Wednesday. What are you laughing at?
Because Pete didn't change the name of the composition, so it's JJ3 last page, but that's not what it is.
Okay, so JJ3 last page. It's JJ.
He knows what I'm talking about.
Just old J last page.
Ah, I gotcha.
Exactly.
So we do have Pete with us tonight. He's got another one of those. Actually, this is what convinced me to have Pete do this like little segment that he does on Wednesdays because he brought up something that was, oh, I want to see that. And I'm really interested in that. Oh, and that reminds me, I did some book report history, investigation, detective work. But I don't have my notes.
Uh-oh.
I have my notes. Okay. Now I have my notes. So we have all kinds of information that I investigated. And then Pete's going to have his segment. We are selling some art tonight, hopefully. And we are showing some commercial work that I don't think people have seen or know that we were even part of. So it is, again, a Weird Wednesday. We're a little looser on Wednesday. It's not so hardcore selling on Wednesday, but kind of letting you into our world a little bit. And to keep saying hello to everybody. Dan Evan is on the phone. It says that hat is perfect right now. And yep, it is perfect for today. That's for sure. So I think I'm going to start because we've got 15 people. What's the red binder?
You'll find out.
These are not binders. These are portfolios. Okay, so first I wanted to start off with, because there was like last.
Let's throw another one at you.
throwing Twizzlers
No,
at
don't eat that one.
Why? It's a
Because it hit
2-second
the
rule.
floor.
It's a 2-second rule. I'm fine. Okay, so basically last Wednesday, we kind of started off the show with one of the questions that was going on the Neal Adams appreciation page and whether or not Neal was 18 when he signed the Ben Casey contract, or was he 21, or was he 55? What's the truth? So I had pulled out
Tell
the
us the
contract.
truth.
I had pulled out the because everybody had controversy over why would Neal's mom have to sign the contract. So was Neal underage to sign a contract? But then it seemed like Neal would have been 21. Why would he be concerned about his mother having to sign a contract? And then I pulled out the contract last Wednesday, and I showed everybody the signed contract, and it was dated like September something. And Neal was obviously 21 when he signed the contract for Ben Casey. So then that kind of sat in my head for a while, because it would be like, well, if Dad was like 21, why is he like even thinking about, why would his mom have to sign the contract? It didn't make any sense. So then I started thinking, and I was like, oh, wait a minute. That wasn't Dad's like first job out of high school, because everybody kind of makes you go like hop over some stuff. And he went right from high school to Ben Casey.
No.
And it was like, no, Dad worked at Johnstone and Cushing. He worked at Stenzel's. He sold the fly to Archie, or they took his fly and paid him some money at Archie. So it wasn't like he just came out of school and got Ben Casey. He obviously was at Johnstone and Cushing. He was obviously assisting Howard Nostrin on Bat Masterson, which I believe was up at Johnstone and Cushing, and that's Stenzel's. You'd have to tell me what candy bowl was there, and I can tell you what place I was in, because Chris bases everything. Chris at 4 or 5 years old bases on what candy she can get out of what company on a given day. So I did some research, and I was thinking, like, why would Neal talk about his mother? Because even I've heard the stories where he's like, oh, I thought my mom was going to have to sign the contract. So what I put together was, how old was the average artist when he was signing syndicated contracts?
Right.
And it was really interesting. Like Schultz for Peanuts was 28. He's actually one of the youngest ones. 28. Chick Young, who designed Blondie, was 29. He was the second to youngest one. Alex Kotsky, who worked on Dick Tracy. No, he didn't work on Tracy. Apartment 3G. I'm sorry. Right. Apartment 3G was Alex Kotsky, and he was 28. No, he was 38. Dick Tracy was Chester Gould, obviously, and he was 31. And then you have Howard Nostrin, who was 30 years old on Bat Masterson. And then you get this little young whippersnapper, Neal Adams, working at Ben Casey at 21. So there's
Dad was kind of baby face.
That's really baby face.
Yeah,
I mean, and you have a new syndicate who's going to depend on you 5 days in a week to draw a daily strip. Right. And you're 21.
Yep.
I don't know about that. So it could be that Neal thought that his mother would have to co-sign with him because he was really, really young. And the reason why I think this may be the reason is because he always talks about that story where he's like up at Johnstone and Stan Drake is up there and all these older guys are up there and they're like, how the hell did this kid get a Ben Casey strip? And we're kind of annoyed with him because they had to establish themselves as artists. They had to do a lot of work, and then they got new strips usually 8 to 9 years or 10 years later in their lives. And here you have this like young, obnoxious Neal Adams who, in their mind, just walked in the door, did some backgrounds, and all of a sudden got a major syndicated TV strip, not a cartoon one, but a realistic one. So my feeling is the reason why he talks about his mother possibly having to sign his contract wasn't so much age, but they were looking for some guarantee that he was a for real dependable and not just some kid who could draw good stuff and would flake out. And could he draw? I mean, the fact that they gave someone 21 a realistic strip and you have to do a strip a day is kind of insane. Like
That's
we've
crazy.
been in publishing, and
That's
I would
crazy.
never do that.
No.
So anyway,
to do it every day, 6 days a week,
yeah,
that's crazy.
right. So I think that's the reason why his mother was brought into the story. So at least that's what I can come up with that makes sense to me. Because he was obviously of age, and he was of age already for a bunch of months. So it doesn't make sense that he was worried he was going to be underage and couldn't sign it.
Right.
So that is my investigative reporting for tonight on why is the story of Neal's mother involved with Ben Casey. Was Neal hired at 15? No, Neal was still in school at 15. I will say his mom was a tough cookie, and I know that they were, my grandmother wasn't one who pussyfooted around. She kind of laid everything out very straight. And I know that if Neal wanted to be an artist, then right out of high school, he would have to support and get work and take care of himself.
The story that I heard was that he had to get work as an artist immediately,
or
otherwise he had to find another job where he would bring in money to the family.
Right. Yep. That's Grandma Adams.
So he worked really hard.
Yeah. But at 15, he was still in school.
Yeah. I mean, I think Joe Kubert and Jim Shooter were younger than that. Shooter apparently wrote some story for, I think it was the Legion of Superheroes.
Yeah, but he went into comics. It was a one-shot.
Right. It was a one-shot.
If you blow it,
and
it's
Kubert,
a one-shot.
But Kubert was like, I want to say 15, 16?
Yeah.
And he was drawing professionally.
Mm-hmm.
But that was a different time period. That was like really early.
Right.
Pre-World War II.
Right.
So he was doing some crazy stuff.
Mm. Okay, I'm going to move on.
Okay.
So I was going to start the night with, we have a bunch of Thrill Kill portfolios. These were done by actually IDW with Scott Dunbar. This was probably Scott's beginnings to his gallery books. Thrill Kill is a story that Neal illustrated and wrote. No, just illustrated.
Jim Stenzel? Is that right?
Stenstrom.
She's
Zia, how do you know that? I hung out with him for a day out in California. He took me to a gun range and I fired really well. And he was impressed with my gun skills.
Jim Stenstrom?
Yes.
Wow. That's impressive.
Were you
Who'd have thunk
shooting at
it?
people?
No. I wasn't allowed to do that.
Right. Okay. So this is the artist edition portfolio. Now my copies of this are a bit ding-dang and a bit scuffed up, but they're not bad. And these came out a long time ago. These came out, what's their date?
Look for fine print.
It looks like 2012.
That sounds perfect.
Right. It was originally published in Creepy number 75 by Warren. And now it's being printed as a portfolio by IDW. And what it has is it has the story at original comic size. That's what I'm saying. This is like the beginning of.
Do you want to use a stand or no?
No, this is like the beginning of Scott Dunbar's shooting the original art, full that you're seeing all the stuff around it. Nothing is being fixed.
Neal wanted to fix the copy because he didn't like the
paste ups.
copy itself. But Scott said no.
And then I know the other thing that bothered Dad. Well, the lettering on this is not horribly great. Right. Neal was upset that because the original didn't have the Thrill Kill
Logo.
logo on it.
Which obviously he had worked.
Yes. That he was upset that Scott did not add the logo onto it.
And look, there's Dad looking over his shoulder.
So basically, these are the pages to the story. It even has Neal's, which is the funny thing about Dad is he would write like this is probably somebody's address. It is somebody's address. He would just write stuff on his originals, not thinking anybody would ever own them or do stuff. And here is.
I'm not sure whether it was that or whether it's just he didn't care that somebody had it.
He would just grab what was ever in front of him.
Yeah.
So there's actually somebody's address for Switzerland. That's up on the top of this page. And he does that a
hold still
lot.
now.
You know, he'll pick up the phone and then he like jots it down on the top of his pages. So somebody in Switzerland is now famous.
They're on all of his pages.
And then there's Dad looking over his shoulder.
Yep. So this is the story. This is all the pages of art. They are original art size. It's kind of a heavy story. And actually, he writes on the back, Thrill Kill is copyright 2012 by Neal Adams and Jim Stenstrom. This is not a page of original art. So all of this comes all together in this portfolio. Hard folio packaging. And blah, 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 blah.
It's actually beautiful.
Yeah, it is very nice. It's got a pocket that holds the original art very tight, or not the original art.
The prints.
Holds the prints very tight. It's funny because
You're gonna sue.
And don't worry, we'll put the pages back in order before we
Right.
send it to you.
Right. So
You might want to
this
tilt
is-
it back a little bit so it doesn't flop on you. There you go.
So this has Dad's signature here. So we're selling these for $100 each. They're from 2012. Like I said, they're a little. Our copies got dinged even coming in the door at the top. So there is some dinging at the top there that has happened to these.
I'm not zooming in because as soon as I do, you're going to move.
I'm not gonna
Don't move.
move.
Don't move.
I'll move.
Don't move. Then I got focus.
Brr.
There you go. Teeny weeny little dingly dang there.
Right.
Okay, Ryan Torrance is claiming one.
Okay.
Yay.
So what I'm doing is I'm selling. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 5. I'm selling them for $100 each. I have Ryan Torrance. Greg Harper says a great portfolio, surprisingly very clean looking. Got it when it came out. Everyone should own one. Goodbye for tonight. Okay, we can put Ryan's on here. And to start the show. So if you are interested in buying anything from us tonight, the way you do it is you write it in the comment bar the same way you guys have been talking to me. We'll acknowledge you buying it, just like we just acknowledged Ryan Torrance buying one. Phil Henrique says, definitely worth getting. The detail in the portfolio is awesome. So these are people who probably bought it when it came out. So back to write in the comment bar, you would like to buy a Thrill Kill portfolio. We'll acknowledge it. We'll write your name on the item. And then we will blow a bomb like this. in celebration of you buying something.
And for those of you on YouTube, you would need to either go to our Facebook, which I just put up our Facebook page, or you can go to our Instagram in order to send us a direct message. Your third option would be to go to our website, which is nealadamsstore.com, and you can contact us through there in order to get us your shipping information and your PayPal information.
Andrea Duran says there are some great panels in this. Do I know how many artist prints were made? I actually don't. I don't believe that this was a big run. I believe this is kind of the front end of actually Scott doing something like this. I don't know how many portfolios he put out, and I have no idea what the runs were. But I think since this was in his beginnings of doing collected art and presenting it this way, and having to work probably at that point around DC or Marvel, I'm sure his runs on this were not that big. But no, I have no idea what the runs were.
And yes, I agree, Andrea. There's some definitely great panels in this series. There's some great camera angles. There's some great body positions. I mean,
Right. Well, he actually photographed most of this
Yeah.
with Paul Kirshner.
page in the front of mine says AP out of 100.
Right. Well, like I said, these are our copies that we got, so we're probably a little outside of the actual run of it. What's interesting is that the colors are the same colors that he uses on his books. This burnt orange color and the yellow. Okay. So if anybody else wants one, please say something now, because I'm going to move on to other stuff. I do have 5 copies. Well, now I have 4 copies left. Oh, I gotta put these over here. What was in it? I was late. It's the Thrill Kill story that Neal did for Warren. It is original art size prints on nice paper of Thrill Kill. Comes in a nice portfolio with Neal's signature. If you watch the video over again, Sam, you'll see it. And you can always order it after the fact if you would like one. Right, so now I lost
I'm sure if you do a quick Google search on Thrill Kill, you'll be able to see it.
Stamps.
What you looking for?
I lost my black stamp.
Yeah, you had them a second ago.
I did have one. I don't know where they went. Oh, well.
Well, there's a bunch up there unless you put it back up there.
Nah. But I don't know where they went.
Yes, it's definitely not kid friendly. You are correct.
Oh, bees. Talking about bees. I'm sorry. I didn't know what you were talking about.
It's quite all right. My sister's just evil. You should know that by now.
I do.
Yes, it is not kid friendly. The story is a little intense.
Was that was that a little snobby there, Sam? Thanks. I do not do prints.
Okay, so this comes down to now. I'm going to show some stuff we have worked on, and I know that we've talked about, because actually we sold some artwork of Captain Planet. This is actually the brochure for Captain Planet to sell it into the U.S. and design. So this is Neal's Captain Planet. This was kind of like a brochure for Captain Planet. I am not selling this, so I'm just going to put that out there right now. I'm just showing this because this is actually one of the last ones we have.
Oops. Well, these days I'll get control of this thing.
On the back side of it, it has the nice Captain Planet. And we do have Captain Planet toy packaging, art, and presentation pieces available to buy. If you're interested in Captain Planet characters or toy packaging or any of that kind of stuff, you can get a hold of Jason through the nealadamsstore.com, and Jason will gladly send you information on what we do have of that art. It is available for purchasing. So, but Neal is kind of the daddy of Captain Planet in a weird way.
I always loved it when I would see the odd Captain Planet cosplayer at conventions. Made me so happy.
But this is like a cool brochure for what Captain Planet was all about. But we did a lot of work for Captain Planet. And this was back in, it looks like 1990.
Phil, we're actually not selling the brochure.
Yeah,
We
this
don't have
I'm not
enough.
selling. This is like my part of like, what other things have we worked on that some people, like if even I forgot we worked on Captain Planet. And I was like, no, we worked on Captain Power.
Lance Reader says Don
Good
Cheadle
goal.
was a great live action Captain Planet. That is true.
So we did that. The other cool thing we did that a lot of people I don't think got to see, and this is just a color Xerox of the, it's kind of like a newsprinting magazine. This is a piece that we did for, like I said, I believe it was in a magazine. I don't know what magazine anymore, but it's a piece on Steve Jeppy and how Steve Jeppy went from being from a mailman to tycoon. And Neal illustrated, kind of a little bit of the life story of how Steve Jeppy goes from being a mailman and then remembering that he loved comics because he apparently, I believe it was a cousin or something that introduced him to comics. And then he decided that he was going to open up a comic store. And then from comic store went on to distributor of comics and all of that. So this is a piece that actually Neal drew of Steve Jeppy's life. Which at the time, even Steve didn't know that this was happening. So he was kind of blown away that they actually had hired Neal to do kind of a comic booky feel thing on Steve Jeppy. So this is kind of cool that we did. I don't know if anybody caught this. Again, we did this many, 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 many years ago. But it's a cool piece of history here. So now everybody's going to have to go searching around for this. I don't think it says June of, it's Success, maybe issue number 29, June 1994. And apparently Steve was a humble mailman in Wildwood, New Jersey in 1972. And then it seems by 1982, Steve forms Diamond Distributors. And through that, he was able to buy his share of Baltimore Orioles.
Kelly Rusk says mass exodus to eBay.
Probably. But we did this, so that's kind of cool. This I have to put away for Friday. Okay, so now I'm going to start with some art. Then we're going to let Pete do his thing, and then we'll come back to doing more art. So I'm going to start with my kind of weird art, since it's Weird Wednesday. And I've shown some weird stuff we've worked on that people don't talk about too much. When I see interviews, I never see anything on Captain Planet. So Paul Michael Moon, I'm sure tonight, will be putting up all of the Captain Planet stuff that he has copies of. I don't know if I've never seen the Jeppy thing.
No.
So I'm trying to find stuff that I never see up on the Neal Adams appreciation pages. So, okay, so here we go, guys. So some of you, actually a lot of you, know that we worked on Joe Camel. We did not design Joe Camel as much as everybody thinks we designed. Or create Joe Camel.
Or do the finishes.
Or, that's right, we did do the finishes.
It's going to be on Neal's tombstone, though.
Yeah, right?
So we did all the comp work for Joe Camel. And I will say that we did make some money doing it. So we did join the dark side for a while. And then we decided not to. So this is about 8 by 11. It's a little short for some reason. This is Neal drawing Joe Camel for presentation, because that's all we did it for. This is obviously Joe Camel trying to do a slam dunk into one of those stick on your wall basketball hoops. And we are this we can buy or can be bought at 300. This is old Joe Camel. Neal did this in 2 different color pens. He did it in his black pen for blacks. He would illustrate Joe Camel in brown so that we could then go in color. And then he had a different kind of feel to the rest of the art that he was in. So a lot of our Joe Camel art is actually done in a brown Pentel or Pilot, as well as a black Pentel or Pilot. That's our noisy freight elevator in the background.
Yeah.
Our building is very busy tonight.
Can I just get a big can of WD-40 and just ride the elevator on the outside down?
I think you have to ride the wheel at the top.
Is it the wheel at the top?
I think it's the cables that go.
I think it is.
And it's the wheel on the top.
Just needs an oil can, man.
So, okay, Joe Camel is 300 to buy if anybody's interested. This is art. So basically with artwork, we have a payment plan where you can put 1/4 to 1/3 down to hold the piece as a deposit. And then you can pay it off monthly with an amount of money that you decide, if it's going to be $50 a month, $100 a month, depending on the price range of your piece. And then once it's paid off, we then ship it to you. So official Joe Camel advertising work for 300. This is not signed by Neal, but we did try selling this when Neal was around. So I know one of the videos, Dad was selling this.
Yeah.
But we will put a certificate of authenticity in with the piece, stating that it is drawn by Neal.
Hey, Gustavo.
Okay. That was Joe Camel. Next one up these are really old, and we've had these like forever. And they're just drawn really, really well.
Very clean.
Right. This is about a 12 by 14 Mickey Mouse. It is drawn on 1-ply, slick paper. This plate finish, right? So it's very slick. It's very black and white of Mickey Mouse by Neal. This is a signed piece by Neal that we're selling for $1,200 of Mickey Mouse. Now these pieces go back to the Fanta work we did. So this is pencil and ink with Neal. Doesn't come with it. That's Sam. You can't read Sam's stuff.
Yeah, you'll notice I don't read most of Sam's comments out loud.
Sam is a troublemaker. It is cold in New York, Gustavo. So this is $1,200. Mickey Mouse can be bought and put on the payment plan. He is a great Mickey Mouse. Like I said, we've had him for years. We weren't going to sell him, and I was just like, "Oh, sell him already, Chris." So this is $1,200 for Mickey Mouse. He's going to go to the side. He may not come back out. I'm not going to guarantee. There are things that sometimes I put out, and I'm like, "Nah, I feel different about that."
Nope, you
tonight.
can't have it. It's mine.
Right, exactly. I'm going to also show you this one. Because if you have one, you got to have the other. So we have Donald Duck. Donald Duck is the same size as the other one. This is, what was it, 11 by 12, 12 by 14, 10 by, no.
Let's take 12 by 14.
Yeah, I think it was 12 by 14. Well, but yes. 12 by 14, this is Donald Duck.
Mom would have swiped this one.
Well, I think the reason why we had it was because Mom did want this one. It is signed by Neal. It is pen and ink Neal. And again, this is part of that Fanta work that we did. So $1,200 for Donald, $1,200 for Mickey. A lot of people prefer Donald Duck to Mickey Mouse.
That's right.
So my mom was a big Donald Duck fan.
Hey, Donald was not about repressing his emotions, man. He let it out.
That's true. He wasn't depressed.
Nope.
He was just angry all the time.
Yeah, when he felt something, he felt it. He did not try to hide it. He did not try to suppress how he was
That
feeling.
does not sound like a
He just let it right out.
No, it doesn't sound like that. Okay, next up is, you guys know that we worked on MetLife. This is black acetate with the color. So there is no original art per se on this. This is and was used for the production of the ad that I'm going to show you for MetLife.
With the big sticker over it.
With a big sticker over it. That's how I run.
How you roll.
Yeah, that's how I run. So this is the original, basically blue line that we did, where Corey, this is hand colored by Corey with an acetate of the black and white line art that Neal
Overlay.
drew. I can't. Well, can I look at it? Ouch!
Uh-oh, she ouched.
I just ouched myself. Acetate's been down for a long time.
Gustavo says those colors look like Zia's work. Who do you think I learned from? My mama.
This is all airbrush.
Nice.
So that is the color, again by Corey.
Mom's where I got my love of jewel tones from.
And then this is the acetate that I just dropped down on top of it, which represents Neal's line art. So we are selling this for $500. It is not signed by either one of our parents, so we will we will just have to put a certificate of authenticity in with this, stating it's an ad that Neal drew for MetLife. This is the color, and this was used for doing the ad because it even has on the back here for the separator not to lift. So this is what was used as the production art.
I sure did, Gustavo.
Right.
Didn't learn half as much as I wish I had, but
This is $500 to buy. I love this piece. I can't promise this piece will come back either.
yeah. It is really beautiful. The colors, even though we do have a better camera and it is showing up in better color on camera, it still does not do it justice.
Yeah. No, the airbrush powder flatness of it is amazing when you look at it. I can sit look at that for a long time. Oops. Thanks, Steve.
You're welcome.
Okay, next piece up. Now this is an interesting piece. All right, I'm going to show you the original pencil art for this. This is one of the 27 covers. Obviously, it's based on the first Ra's al Ghul cover, which I believe was 231.
232.
232. Sorry, 232. Ra's al Ghul. Except it was Batman and Robin at the bottom, not Superman and Wonder Woman. Okay, so just like the original was done in 2 pieces.
Yep, 232.
Neal did this in 2 pieces. This is Neal's original pencil work for that.
Oh, here we go. Good, Sam.
So this is Neal's original pencil work for the cover. And again, we're selling this for $8,000. The inker who inked that cover would probably have his part of the job. This is Neal's part of the job. Pencil work for the cover.
For those who want to screen grab.
Screen grab time. So this is the original cover, Pencils by Neal. So we are selling this for $8,000. This is not signed by Neal, so we'll have to put a certificate of authenticity with it. So $8,000 to buy. I don't like hot toddies. She likes hot toddies. Actually, our mother liked hot toddies.
Yeah, Mom liked them best.
I don't even think I've had a hot toddy.
No, I only do the hot toddy when I'm like deathly ill and need to crash out. And then I'll do a hot toddy.
Okay, you want to do your thing?
If you want.
Okay, we're gonna cut to Pete's little segment tonight.
Right.
And like I said, this was.
No, this is a vital segment.
I think you have to come over here.
Nope.
No.
Oh, Pete's gonna do
You're
it
gonna
from
make.
there.
You're gonna make Z go over there.
Yep.
All right.
It's okay. All I gotta do is rotate.
All right. I'm gonna pull this. Okay, so this is what convinced me to invite Pete on. Because I thought what he was telling me was like amazingly like
Stupid.
what and I never knew, and I love Alan Kubert's work, and I thought it was a cool story, and I'm sure everybody missed it. So this is what we were going to start actually the show with, but then
Yes.
we couldn't find the comic because
Right.
we all hold on to a million comic books and in comic boxes just for that moment when you're going to need something,
And you can't
and then
find
you go
it.
to eBay and you buy another set.
And you can't find it. It's ridiculous.
So we had that moment in our own personal household, and so we got the books in this
Okay.
week.
Well, Pete,
So-
much like you guys, has a lot of comic book boxes.
I do not. Maybe I do. Okay, so can we start with the Wolverine cover?
Sure.
Okay,
They like your hoodie already.
good.
I may have a dead animal, but you have cool art.
Okay,
Here's the Wolverine
Okay.
cover.
so this cover was one of Neal's favorite Adam Kubert covers of all time. He loved this cover. Absolutely loved it. He wanted to somehow incorporate this into his art, but it's really not a Neal Adams composition. So every time he tried to do it, he would just change it and make it different and make it, in his mind, make it better. And he just really loved that cover so much that he was entranced by it.
He also loved the color of this
He
cover
loved the
because
color.
this was
He loved the
everybody had this
composition.
for a while.
He loved everything about this.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to start by saying that because Neal loved what Adam Kubert was doing with Wolverine. And then I had mentioned this series, which he had never seen. And this series was Jezebel Jade. And Adam Kubert started doing lettering for, I think, heavy metal.
He lettered under, I think, John Workman.
Right. And he worked with his brother on Adam Strange.
Mm-hmm.
And he had done some inking. And his father had inked some of his pencils. But he finally got a chance to do his own thing. And this was the beginning of his entrance into comics as a real, solid penciler. And Jezebel Jade was based on the Johnny Quest series that Kimiko was doing at the time. And, no one knew who Jezebel Jade was. In fact, very few people at that time even really knew who Johnny Quest was. Maybe they had seen the cartoon, which, Doug Wildey had done so well. That opening sequence is probably one of the best opening sequences in animation ever. And so when William Mesner Loebs started writing this series and Adam Kubert started drawing it, he said to himself, obviously, I want to do this border thing where the two kids, Johnny Quest and Haji, and of course Bandit, have now found Race Bannon's diary about before he became Johnny Quest's, bodyguard, whatever he was, best friend, whatever. And so the kids are reading this diary, and he put these borders on the tops of almost every single page. And I fucking loved it. I thought it was absolutely amazing. I love this series because Adam Kubert was really coming into his own. He was starting to really draw tremendously well. And he was really doing great storytelling. And it was an action adventure story with, Jezebel Jade being kind of a femme fatale, and here's Race Bannon, trying to do the right thing because he was a nice guy, and he's being, yelled at to help out and, find the bad guy and to do all this stuff. And here are these boys at the top of almost every page, reading these this diary. And then at a certain point, as time went by, I had finally gotten to a point where, Neal would take me to conventions, and of course, Adam was doing the covers. They were great covers. And I finally met Adam Kubert. And I was so happy to meet Adam Kubert because I really loved what he did in Jezebel Jade. I thought it was absolutely fabulous. And I went up with my comics and I said, "Can you sign these for me?" And he threw his hands up. He said, "Oh my God, Jezebel Jade, I can't even talk about that." And I was like, okay, why not? And he said, because I had made the mistake of doing these borders with these kids. And even though they were in silhouette, I had to come up with different compositions for them on every single page. And he said, then I had to do the rest of the page. And it was just like...
It was like 2 jobs in one job. It
really was 2 jobs. And he said it was exhausting. He said it was just the worst thing in the world. And by the time he got to the end of these 3 issues, which I'll put up the 3rd issue, by the time he got to the 3rd issue, he was exhausted. He said it was the hardest thing he had ever done in his life. And he said, I will never do that again. I will never, ever do anything like that again.
They're pretty elaborate.
Oh, they're tremendously elaborate. You have to do all these stories.
Palm trees.
Palm trees.
A whole page of palm trees.
And then at the end of the story, of course, Race Bannon finds them and they have to run away. But it's just, it was. He said it was the worst thing in the world because he had to draw these characters in silhouette almost on every single page, and he didn't know how to do it anymore. After 2 issues, you're like, I don't have any more ideas. I need more kids. I need kids doing weird things to possibly come up with some new ideas. But in the end, I think this is one of the best stories that Adam Kubert has ever done. I really love it. Maybe he's gotten to be a better artist. I'm not going to say maybe. He has become a better artist. He has, advanced beyond that. He's worked with his dad. He's worked with his brother. He's done, Wolverine and Spider-Man and all this, and the Uncanny, the X-Men,
and
Spider-Gwen, Ultimate X-Men. He's done some really terrific stuff. But in the end, this is one of those little stories that, in my opinion, if you miss this, you really miss what Johnny Quest, what Race Bannon, what Jezebel Jade, and what Adam Kubert is really all about. This is really a terrific little 3-issue story. And that's the point of what I'm doing here, is to try to find these little stories that a lot of people haven't seen, and they aren't reprinted, they aren't put together, and no one knows about them, or very few people know about them. But if you get a chance, I think Jezebel Jade 1, 2, and 3 are a terrific read. William Mesner Loebs does a great job. Adam Kubert does a terrific job. And if nothing else, you can look at the little borders of the kids reading this diary, and it's just wonderful. It's a harkening back to an older time, where you could, have kids doing and experiencing,
having little adventures, and you can leave your doors unlocked at the end.
Exactly. It's like Treasure Island. It's like those kinds of things where kids go into the woods and they have these adventures, and there's no real danger. It's just wonderful stories. So I highly recommend this.
So everybody run to eBay.
See if you can get
They're from Kamiko. They're
from
Jezebel
Kamiko.
Jade.
Right. And at the time, Kamiko was doing Johnny Quest, and this was kind of like a spin-off of Johnny Quest. And Doug Wildey had done, I think, the first 2 issues of it, and I think Steve Rude did an issue. I mean, there was some great stuff coming out of Johnny Quest.
Right.
And this particular series, as a spin-off, I think is absolutely wonderful.
Okay, so Phil, wait a minute, we're going to back this up. So Gustavo wanted to know, what did he wanted to know?
Did the Keeper kids ever visit continuity?
Right. Did the Kuber
Yes.
kids ever visit continuity? Yes.
Yes.
I will say Adam Kuber came up here
Andy
when
did.
he was lettering still
Andy came up here too.
and showed pages to Neal, and Neal was pretty tough on Adam, and then Adam went home. Probably had a rough night. Andy came up to continuity, never had that experience with Neal. Basically, the time that Andy was up here, he was up here with his dad and his brother. And we were talking. It was an interesting meeting because Joe Kubert was running books through Byron Price's publishing house at the time, and was doing creator-owned stuff with Byron. And the boys were still working at Marvel at that time. And Neal was doing whatever Neal's doing at the time. But we were having a big conversation on creator-owned.
Right, but that was part of the conversation. The conversation was also about that Joe Kubert was also being reprinted.
Yes.
His Enemy Ace was being reprinted. His Sergeant Rock was being reprinted, and Neal was also being started to be reprinted. And they were putting his name up there, and they were saying, "Hey Neal, you're selling this book," and Neal was saying to DC, "You need to acknowledge that."
Right.
And he was saying the same thing to Joe. Joe, if you're the creator of Sergeant Rock, if you're the creator of Hawkman, if you're the creator of Enemy Ace, then you need to, get something out of that. And I think Joe was just like, it's okay. I'm fine. I have my school. I have all this stuff. I'm cool.
He was like, Joe listened.
Joe listened.
It got heated.
It did. But Joe was very happy with where he was in
Yes,
life.
Joe was very happy with where he was. That is true. So anyway, yes, the Kubert family and the Adam family have sat at the conference room table.
I wonder if Andy went home and called up Joe and was like, "So I saw Neal today."
No, that was Adam.
Oh, sorry, Adam.
Andy never went. Andy was like, my understanding in talking, Adam always wanted to be a comic artist. Andy did construction.
Yeah.
And Andy went, according to Adam, one day, Andy decided to draw comics, and the next day he was working at Marvel. I mean, it just came out of kind of nowhere, supposedly. Now, I'm sure that's not really the truth, but I guess for the amount of time that Adam put in to become a comic artist, in Adam's head, Andy did not put in the amount of time to be a comic artist. So I think there was a little bit of feelings there.
Adam worked his ass off.
Yes, Adam. I mean, to this day, Adam still works his ass off.
Sure does.
He works very hard on a page. It always seems like torture when you talk to him when he does a page. He's always kind of like the most uncomfortable comic artist I've ever known who does comics. But
Adam is one of Chris's other brothers.
Right. But basically, well, that's because Andy always wants to kill me because I always upset him one way or another. And yes, I agree. They are the nicest human beings on the planet. The whole family is nice. And the boys are great. And Joe was great, obviously.
I mean, I met Joe Kubert, and he didn't know me from Adam. And he shook my hand, and you could tell he's one of those guys that can take lug nuts off of car tires with just his hands, just his fingers. But he didn't crush my hand. he was so nice, and we had a conversation. And this is Joe Kubert. He doesn't know me. And I was so happy to meet Joe Kubert because he had done Sergeant Rock, he had done NBAs, he had done my favorite, I'm sorry I'm going to say this, Tarzan. His Tarzan was the best. I loved his Tarzan. And so I have nothing bad to say about anyone in that family. I think they're all wonderful. And I think Adam, Adam, to me, this is Adam's beginning of being a great comic artist.
Okay, so we're pushing Jezebel, like I said, Jezebel Jade from Comico is Pete's find for this week.
That's right.
Yay!
Thank you, Pete. So now Pete's gonna have to sit through the rest of the show. Sorry.
Of course, all I know about the
Alright.
Kuberts is they make pretty pictures. They're Chris's besties.
You haven't met the boys?
No.
Well, I mean, the boys were only up here.
There are so many
Twice.
people in the comic book industry that people are like, you haven't met them? It's like, no, I've only
See, you're
recently
just
been let out
always
of the attic.
You're just always in the wrong place. That's it. Gotta be in the right place. Work on that.
Been behind the computer most of the time.
Well, they need you. You weren't even up behind the computer if you didn't need them. Believe me, Dad would have taken them around. He would have had to show Joe all his toys. Okay, so back to some artwork here. This
Happy Tower says, nice, tell Pete I ordered Predator.
you'll be
That's what
happy
he
with
Excellent.
Predator.
You will be very happy with it, I believe.
Okay, the size of this piece is 11 by 10. This is penciled by Neal. Obviously, it's a Star Wars piece. And it's tight. I will say it's tight on the face, a little loose around her in a way. I believe Neal was going to ink this. I don't believe that this was just going to be a pencil. But it is a very nice pencil by Neal. It is signed by Neal, and we're selling this for $800. So $800 is the price on this. Very nice Star Wars piece.
Very nice.
Princess Leia.
Happy Tower says, so clean.
Very clean.
He's on YouTube. Yep, he's switching to Facebook. Just how about
Animals, I tell you, animals. Okay, so Princess Leia, $800 to buy. It is a signed piece by Neal. Cute piece. Okay, Princess Leia from sign. I don't think we did a pan scan of this because this is like a little.
no.
Okay, this is a piece that Jason found in the drawer. This is obviously from the Batman Forever movie licensing book. And what we're selling, because this is actually a Xerox, what we're selling is this Batman head, which actually Neal flopped it for the licensing book, but he drew it. So what we're selling is this Batman head for $800. It is signed by Neal. And again, that's from Batman Forever. So this is for the style guide, which we've shown a bunch. A nice Batman headshot there by Neal. for $800. Okay, next up, we're going to do smaller pieces. Okay, this is a new piece that's come into it. This is more of that
Bacardi.
Bacardi and rum. Well, this isn't Bacardi. This was
I was told it was Bacardi.
There it was.
Bacardi. Do you drink Bacardi out of a wine glass?
No, those aren't wine glasses. They're mixed drinks.
Really? Mm-hmm. No. Okay. Okay, Bacardi is
Cocktails.
one of our liquor jobs that we did. We've sold a number of pieces from this job. It was a gorgeous job that Neal did. This is one of the bigger pieces from that job. It is 11 by 17. This is pen and ink Neal. It's very goth. This was done in probably late 80s, maybe early 90s. There is a lot of work in this piece. And like I said, we've sold other panels, excuse me, with that guy in a long leather coat. I think he thinks one of the girls is like a Holly Berry.
Okay.
Type, I guess. This is 1,000 to buy. This is not signed by Neal. This is coming, like I said, out of our advertising commercial work. I don't even think we've ever printed this piece.
Nope.
But a lot of hard work in this piece. I like the guy that's in the background.
With the top hat that looks like the guy from Rolling Stones.
So,
What the hell is his name?
well, it's kind of like that bass guitarist, actually, is what it reminds me of.
Bass guitarist.
His name is not coming to me. It'll come to me 2 pieces or down from here.
Oh, because of the top hat?
Yeah.
You're thinking Slash?
Yes.
No, the face, though, that's the guy from Rolling Stones. Gotta be.
You think so?
Yeah.
No, maybe. And yes, that is all inked. Was that a coquito-induced hiccup? No. All I had today was salad and water.
What's the name of the guy from Rolling Stones? Not the main guy. The other one.
The guy who we always think should be
Keith Richards.
Keith Richards. Thank you.
Okay,
Oh, Happy Towers just came in with Keith Richards. Yeah.
1,000 to buy this piece. Yeah, he is a Keith Richards fan.
Benjamin Wyman said Keith. Keith Richards.
Keith. Well, with all the chemicals in his system.
Probably. Okay.
That's what's keeping him going.
I brought this piece back.
The tar from the nicotine and the chemicals.
Okay, this is a Sunday page from Buck Rogers, done by
Rogers.
Neal. Now, big controversy will happen right now. Did Neal pencil this? Didn't Dennis Cohen pencil this? Because Dennis was working on the dailies at the time. I believe Gray was sick, which was the reason why people were helping him. This is 23 by 15 on this Sunday page. This Sunday page, because Dennis is a good friend of mine. So I wrote to Dennis and I said, Dennis, did you pencil the Sunday pages? Not that I thought he did, because when you look at the Sunday page, this does not look like Dennis's composition or layout. It certainly, to me, looks like Neal Adams' compositions and layouts. But I asked because I knew I would be tarred and feathered if I was wrong. So Dennis had said, no, Chris, I only worked on the dailies. Neal did the Sundays. So this is 100% Neal Adams, pencil and ink, spoken from Dennis's mouth. And we're selling this for, I believe, $3,000, right?
3,000.
$3,000. It's a gorgeous Sunday page from Buck Rogers. This is all Neal. Really nice inking. The girl at the end is great.
I was commenting earlier, even the girl on the top right is very pretty
Over here.
for a smaller illustration.
Yeah.
Blonde.
Yep.
Blondie blonde.
So really nice piece. This is a published piece, obviously. It was printed in the newspapers. $3,000 to buy the Buck Rogers piece. Nice piece of art. It will get a certificate of authenticity to go along with it, since it is not signed by Neal. Oops. It's too big for the table. Okay. Wasn't Neal ghosting Gray Morrow there? I would say yes, Neal is ghosting Gray Morrow, but I think at this point Neal was creeping around the edges and making it looking a little bit more Neal-like than Gray-like. But yes, he was helping. He was helping Gray Morrow out because Gray was sick at the time. This is a piece I've shown before. This is a color guide for when Neal was working on Chip Martin. So this is colored by Neal because Neal did 100% his complete job on Chip Martin. And this is Neal did very large color guides for Chip Martin. I was surprised. So this is Neal's color guide for Chip Martin. College Reporter. This is actually one of Neal's, I would say, early commercial jobs.
Yes.
So this is very much early Neal. Actually,
he always told me he did a tremendous amount of research for this because he was doing it for AT&T.
Yeah.
Bell. Yeah. So Bell. Yeah. So he said he had to do a tremendous amount of research, and drawing the backgrounds was a nightmare for him.
Yeah, the stock exchange was a nightmare.
Yeah.
Because if you picked up a commercial job that had the stock exchange, he would always make you find his Chip Martin, and then he would stat it and put it in the
I'm not drawing that again.
I'm not drawing that again.
There's
right?
a couple of them where Chip Martin is on a boat or ship or something, and he just said, "Oh, it was such a nightmare."
Yeah.
He just was not happy about doing that.
Right. Well, okay, it is $600 to buy the color guide. It also does have a date on this. This was.
I'm not sure if that is a date.
You don't think so?
Well, the numbers don't add up to a date.
Because it looks like it says 1966
Oh, okay.
on it. I see what you're saying because it looks like 18 and then it's like a 2 and a 10.
Yeah.
But then it does have 1966, which 1966 would make sense at about the time period he was doing this. So I would think that possibly could be a date on it. I may be wrong. So nice color guide by Neal Adams for $600. Chip Martin, College Reporter. Ancient artifact of Neal Adams.
Yeah, really.
And that would get a certificate of authenticity that goes along with it.
2 years before he started Undead.
Yeah. We have an 8.5 by 11. This character is called the Spider. This is kind of a. We used to have the book. I think the book is buried in my boxes that I haven't even opened yet from our move. But it's kind of like a noir crime piece where he is kind of a detective type. I don't know why he has spider webbing behind him. But he was called the Spider. The books were called the Spider.
Yes.
This is $900 to buy. This is pencil and ink Neal. Color on this, I suspect
That's Jason.
Is Jason with probably some dad. It is $900 to buy. I believe it is signed at the bottom.
Yep. Yeah, I do see some dad coloring in there too.
Yeah.
The tie was a dead giveaway, Dad.
Yes, Casey did start in 1962. Neal was doing commercial art while also working on Ben Casey. He did that bowling ad, definitely while working on Ben Casey.
How do you know that?
Because I'm scarred by a bowling ad.
Oh dear.
It was hold the pose for way too long. That was not an easy
Forever.
pose to hold. And there was a lot of yelling.
He was an angel, though.
Yeah. I don't understand why he didn't shoot a photo. Like he shot photos for everything else. Okay. Okay. We have these cool pieces. It showed this, I think, on Friday. I guess we haven't scanned this one either yet.
I'm surprised no one picked that.
Yeah, this is the Man of Steel versus the Rooter of Wire.
Told me we weren't doing pans tonight.
What?
You told me we weren't doing scan and pans tonight.
Well, I don't think we are because we had so much art that I knew wasn't scanned at the end yet. Because a lot of art came in on Friday.
Well, this one we did. I just said.
Oh,
No,
we
we
did
were-
scan and pan this?
Yeah, it's just I don't have it in the thing because we
Oh.
weren't doing scan and pans.
Would you empty everything out?
I made room, yeah.
No. Okay.
Gia, what's wrong with you?
We're getting
It'll-
used to
It'll only hold so many images.
pieces. Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I know.
So this is
It's just a button.
All you gotta do.
It's just a button. Whenever it was the
Alright.
computer, it's just a button.
This is Neal Adams doing advertising work with Superman for the Reuters.
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 I'm just gonna say it wrong.
I know you are.
Roto-Reuters.
This is $1,800 to buy. Pencil and ink. Because you guys will correct me till the cows come home.
How much? 1,800?
1,800.
Will you give it to me for 800?
No, because we don't do that here for you. So 1,800 for this page. That is page 1. And then we seem to have page 3. I do not know what happened to page 2. So this one is 1,800. We have another page of it, which this is page 3. It is 10 by 14.
This is a different price.
This is 3,200. This is really nice art. It's very clean.
Superman.
It is Superman. You're right. What are we looking for? Oh, here it is. So again, a nice Superman piece for 2,300. You're stealing El Diablo, really?
Yeah.
I
I
didn't
love
know.
El Diablo.
I know.
he's
I
great.
can't believe nobody's blonde.
I can't believe it either.
Maybe we'll have to find some El Diablos. Have an El Diablo day. Okay, next up is this is a 14 by 17 piece of paper that has the Batmobile with Batman and Robin in it. It is not completely inked. Do I know what year? I do not know what year. I did try and find it on the internet. I did not find it. And it had nothing that told me a year on it. But I did try and find it and had no luck.
And Chris, what is the price tag of the Batman car?
Excuse me? Yeah, this is the first time we're showing the Batman car.
No, what's the price tag on it?
$6,000. So this is Neal's Batmobile. It's very, I would say this is the Batmobile he drew in Batman Odyssey, right?
Yes.
Yes. This is definitely penciled by Neal. He did sign it, and he was inking it. We did fill it. We did show this before. We did ink filled in a black that he had indicated on the front fender. Since the last time you guys may have seen it, that is the only thing we have done to it. We decided to leave it the way Neal has it and not have somebody else finish it. So this is $6,000 to buy. Signed piece by Neal. It's the Batman Odyssey Batmobile with Batman and Robin in the car. It's a really nice piece of art. Like, I would take this and frame it and put it up in a heartbeat. Batman's very intense on the inside. Robin is definitely in the car with him.
Looking out.
Behind. Right. Gorgeous piece. We will pan and scan this so that you guys can see it better for Friday. Wednesdays are kind of like our mixed bag of tricks, and then we pan and scan, and Friday night we'll have better looks in some ways of art. So, gorgeous piece by Neal, though, as usual. Hard to find not a gorgeous piece by Neal. We did find a He-Man, which I just lost the artwork. This is what the cover looked like. I think He-Man. We have a He-Man Masters of the Universe 2002 promo comic. This is Neal's prelim layout, He-Man layout. It's 6.5 by 10 for 1,000. And this is what the promo looked like when it was printed. Promo comic. Again, this is a prelim by Neal.
They're talking about Phil Henrique brought up that Dad had done a Norelco ad.
Yes. Because I was going to say, I don't think the Man of Steel was Norelco.
No.
So what we're looking at right now is Masters of the Universe. This is $1,000. It is Neal's prelim to this promo brochure comic. So Masters of the Universe is here. 1,000 to buy. Okay, next one up is I'm gonna go with El Diablo.
El Diablo.
I don't know. Do you have El Diablo or did you take him out? See,
No, I took them all.
you took them all out. Okay, so excuse me. This is $1,500 to buy. This is 8.5 by 11. Pencil and ink Neal. Color on this is Zia. It is our belief in the studio that this is the only El Diablo that Neal has drawn. Because none of us remember doing any other El Diablos. And I think he just was like, I'm going to draw a character I want to draw. And he kind of came in with El Diablo, and we were all very excited to see El Diablo. All right, I'm going to do some prints on this. Okay. We have a 13 by 19 print of Batman. Now these are Jaclay prints. I have a 13 by 19 of Batman in the rain. We call this gray Batman in the rain. If you're seeing this and we're not on air anymore, you can refer to this as gray Batman in the rain. It is 13 by 19. It is on a paper stock. That is a great paper stock. It's a thick, nice watercolor Jaclay paper that we do of Batman. This is signed by Neal, and we do sell it for $100 to buy. So, nice Batman in the rain. This was a piece that recently came up on Neal's appreciation page. And I knew that we had one print left of this. So we're selling this for $1,000. This, I mean 100. I'm sorry, 100. I lost.
I was like, I better change that tag then.
100. The size of this is 13 by 19, and this is printed on the same paper that Neal draws on, which is a cougar paper. And this Neal once again drew for. I believe this was originally in a portfolio that was printed by someone else. But this is our printing of it, and it is signed by Neal. It is $100 to buy.
Was El Diablo Spanish or Mexican? Wasn't he Mexican?
I thought he was Spanish.
El Diablo?
Spanish.
Yeah, I think he's
He might
Spanish.
be Mexican.
Gustavo is.
Well, but
El
was the
Diablo.
character in Spain? Or was he in Mexico?
I don't know. He was shot people.
Don't know. I think he was Spanish.
I believe El Diablo was Spanish.
I think so
Okay.
too.
I know he rode a black horse.
He did, and he was couldn't move, and he was in a coma, and then suddenly he could suddenly come alive.
And became El Diablo.
And he wore a red mask
He did.
versus a black mask.
Well, actually, it looks like it's a smaller red mask over a larger
All
black
right,
mask.
now you're making me look it up.
Chris Lady was.
But even that, I think it depends on who
None
drew
of
it.
you idiots in that room know.
Well, no, he's saying you don't know to Gustavo because Gustavo was the one that was
didn't
asking.
know. Wait a minute.
Happy Tower says he shot people. Puerto Rican.
Okay. Now we're in trouble.
He was a name of several characters appearing in media published by DC Comics. Lazarus Lane, Rafael Sandoval, and Chateau Santana.
So is he Spanish or is he Mexican?
It was created by our good friend Robert Kanigher and Gray Morrow.
Oh, that's if Robert Kanigher created him, then he's Mexican.
You definitely Mexican. Robert Kanigher. American Old West.
Aha.
So you must be kind of Mexican.
Well, no, he could have been, up the boat.
He was originally a bank teller who was nearly killed by a gang of thieves and put in a coma after being struck by lightning.
Maybe he's from Colombia.
After being revived by a Native American shaman, Wise Owl, Lane becomes the vigilante El Diablo.
Wow. That's like a real mixing bowl of ingredients. Sounds like a Kanigher job. Okay, what we're currently looking at
is El Diablo.
Is
No,
El
wait,
Diablo
that's not El
Superman.
Diablo.
So this is Superman. He is 11 by 17?
14.
11-14. Thank you, Z.
Oh,
11-14. He is pen and ink Neal. Color on this is Jason. Is $3,500 to buy.
Happy Tower says, I think he's just a dude with bad luck.
Yeah, really. He obviously is being hit by some sort of kryptonite, and he's bleeding. And that is Superman. It is a signed piece by Neal. I believe this was done around the period that he was working on his coming up with the Superman series.
Yep, because he bleeds in that.
Yeah. So that's why he's bleeding. Again, really, I mean, I love the inking on his face. I like the shadowing,
The dramatic lighting.
because usually Superman is pretty plain.
He's usually sunshine and daylight.
Yeah, he really is. You don't ever really see him. I mean, this is kind of like Batman shadowing on Superman. So it's interesting in that it's a different.
Been hanging out with Batman too much.
A different look for Superman than the usual, as you say, out in the sunshine look. $3,500 for Superman. And that is original art, because I realized I went for prints and I didn't say anything.
Yeah.
To
And then it had
art.
a $100 price tag on the screen when it came up.
There you go. That's what we're feeling. We have the 8.5 by 11 Batman in the Moon who lost his price tag, so I can't put him on.
Derp.
Oops. I have to find his pricing.
Happy Tower. No, that was Jason's coloring.
Oh, on Superman? Yes, that is Jason's coloring. All right, I got the 11 by 14 Hawkman, pencil and ink Neal. The color on this is Tim Shin, who a lot of you now know, who's out there as an illustrator himself. This is $1,500 to buy. This has a very kind of animated look.
Yes.
Yeah, it feels a bit Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah. It's a different feel
I
than
still
Neal's.
like it.
I love that.
I love it.
So $1,500 for Hawkman. This is an interesting piece because this is a prelim to the style guide for the Batman Forever. This is before Neal knew they were stylizing it the way they did, which was kind of Art Deco-ish. So this was where Neal was heading with that licensing book before they started making decisions and taking it in a different direction. So this is a prelim by Neal. It is Batman basically standing in a puddle with his reflection going the other way. This is pen and ink Neal. Too bad he never did a cover of this, because that would have been a dynamite cover.
Would have been.
The puddle piece.
Right, and it
We're
is
going to call it that from now on. The puddle piece.
Puddle piece.
2,000 to buy. Is it signed by John or not signed?
It's signed in pencil, really light on the bottom right hand corner.
Signed in pencil on the bottom. And this is a great composition. Like I said, I'm really sad that we never brought this back up and said, why don't we hand this in as a cover? Because I don't remember seeing it until recently.
Yeah.
So this is one of those pieces that kind of went under the radar, even at continuity, and we never brought it back to try it out for something. So 2,000 to buy this. It is signed by Neal. It is 11 by 14. Yes, it's got great black and white to it. Great perspective. Great piece. Two pieces? I did. Let's see what this is. All right, we still have this piece. A great Superman piece, 8.5 by 11 for 3,000. This is Superman flying forward, obviously. Was Neal trying to make the shadow of the Batman cowl? I don't think so.
No.
I think those are just building reflections.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying because it looks like Batman. See what he's saying is, look, it looks
Oh,
like
I see.
ears. It's round.
Yeah.
You might be right.
Mm,
It was for licensing, so might.
maybe.
So I would give
Maybe.
you a possible yes on that. But I'll never know for sure. Okay, so Superman is 8.5 by 11. Pen and ink Neal. Splatter effect is always Jason. And it is 3,000 to buy. And Wayne said Neal drew El Diablo on the cover of All Star Western Volume 2, Issue 3. Yes, he did. And nice to hear from you, Wayne. I thought Neal did more El Diablo than just one El Diablo.
He did 3, I think.
Yeah, I think so. Because usually he does
One
more
where
than
he shot Bernie.
Yes. But Neal, any excuse to draw a horse. Like, he hated drawing horses, but he loved to draw horses. And
Because
he
he
could show off.
did it better than anyone.
yeah, he hated doing Westerns, but he loved doing Westerns. So 3,000 on Superman, 8.5 by 11. All right, I'm gonna do Dr. Doom. This is another piece I would buy. Doom versus Dracula. This is a very tight prelim sketch. Weird Western Tales number 15. They're all coming in now with the answers. I need to get you guys in my ear, and then we could play password or something, and then I would win all the money and split it with all of you giving me the answers. So this is a prelim for a commission piece, Dr. Doom versus Dracula, because only a person would come up with that concept of putting those two characters together. It is $1,200 to buy. I think this is a great piece. Neil drawing Dr. Doom doesn't happen every day, not like Batman. But I wish he did draw more Dr. Doom because he does a pretty good Dr. Doom.
He does.
He did like one profile or front, one of these things.
Yeah.
He did as a Dr. Doom, and it was just I didn't want to
good.
sell it.
It was pretty good.
It was great. I was just like, I want that Dr. Doom. You can't put that out there. So this is one of the few places Neil is drawing a Dr. Doom. They're very hard to find out there in the real world.
They're
Not too many of them. $1,200 for this one. Much easier to find a Batman out there, that's for sure. Okay, next is, I haven't put this up in a while. So this is a really nice Giclée print of the Batman 251 cover. This was taken from the original cover, the scan that made this piece. It's really nice and clean and wonderful. You can see the rubber cement mark where there was a logo.
Yep, and you see the paste up of the issue number and the month.
Right. And this is $100 to buy. And it does come signed by Neal. Yep. Supposedly one of the top covers that Neal ever drew.
Yep.
Yes.
In the favorite world of comics. Not coming from me. So you can't kill me. Okay. This is a new Giclée. This is $200 to buy. This is 13 by 19. This is on a really nice
watercolor, acid-free paper.
Thank you, Zia.
You're welcome. I'm
This
the other
was-
half of your brain.
This is a commissioned piece that was done by Neal. It's a painted piece. And some of you have bought it, like Happy Towers, which says, this is amazing up close. I will say the color work on this is amazing. There's a lot of work in this piece. Joker is phenomenal. The cards pop really white. There's a lot of city drawn in this. It was supposed to have the feel of the 251.
Yeah, this looks really good framed. I mean, it's hard to tell because we do have stuff behind the piece, so it looks a little too busy. But once you put this in a frame on the wall, it's stunning.
Yeah. So this is $200 to buy. It is not signed by Neal because this is a Giclée that we made after Neal had already passed. So there are no signed ones out there. And if you see a signed one out there, there is a problem. There is a signature on it, but it is a signature that is on the painting that is printed on the piece. Actually, Neal was planning on making this a split cover. That was his goal when he was painting this, and he would be able to do a split cover of this. So, as usual, how can I use a piece more than once?
Right.
In that land
How can
of
I
Neal.
make more money?
So, Phil, you're very much on target with Neal's thinking, and you were correct in that that's where this was kind of heading.
I'm going to make more money and draw less.
More money, more money, more money.
Right.
Because I want to work on my Sasquatches. I don't want to be drawing Batman. I want to work on Sasquatch.
You enjoyed working on Batman.
Oh, I know. But, given the choice.
So, yeah. Okay. Next one is a Batman pencil for Batman with a bangerang.
Bangarang. It's a bangarang.
It's time for Chris to go home. Been a long day. Batarang for $900.
Welcome to these shows with Chris.
It's a long day.
Hey, it's Weird Wednesday. Chris's mouth is not working.
This is like a 11-hour day. So, plus when you sit here going, it's Batman, it's El Diablo, it's Batman, it's El Diablo, it's Wonder Woman, this is like, you just like, blah, 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 blah.
I'm surprised you just don't slap it up there and go, oh, you know who it is.
I have to find more of those Sasquatch prints. And we may have sold out on them. I don't know if we finally sold them out.
Yeah, no, if Dad could be paid for Sasquatch the way he was paid for Batman, that's what he would be doing right now.
I totally got tired of that. I mean, I never thought he was ever going to get tired of the planets. And he kind of moved on.
Bang, a wang, wang, go, wang, go.
Yep. So $900 for Batman with the Batarang pencil.
Being thrown by Batman, also known as Bruce Wayne.
Yes. We have a 8.5 by 11 Vampirella drawn by Neal for $1,500. That's very cute.
Can we call them Bang-a-wings for now?
Bang-a-wings.
Bang-a-wing.
Bang-a-wing.
Sounds like something Jade would have called it when Jade was little. Like Pee-wees.
Bang-a-wings.
Bang-a-wings.
Okay. I did have some prints that were special, but I have a feeling I'm going to wait till Friday night for them. Did you want to show your Joker, or do you want to wait for Friday for that?
I'm going to show Joker. I just don't remember what number I put on him. I put 6 on him? I think I put 6 on him.
I think that's what you did.
Yeah.
Great. So we have $1,500 on Vampirella. I'm going to put her down here. We're going to show a piece of Zia's artwork. And then we're going to show a Jason's statue. And then I may just make sure that everybody is happy. I may show the thrill kill again. And then we're probably going to end our show because I didn't want to stay too late because of our icy conditions and cold weather here in New York.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to show the Joker painting. On the left-hand side of the screen, you're going to see Dad's original sketch that inspired the painting. And there's the painting.
Right. So what?
Now we can go grab it off of the easel if you want, but I figured this would be an easier way to show it.
Can you start it again? Can you hold it?
No, I can't hold it, but I can do. I have stills.
Okay. Let's do this still. So let's look at Dad's. Okay, so some of you may remember this because we actually sold this to somebody out there. It took a little while for somebody to buy it because I was ready to like snatch it because I loved it from the minute he originally did it. But he did a Joker. It was small. It was 8.5 by 11. It was after he had actually
I can't hold on that. Sorry.
had gotten out of the hospital. So it is the one that's on the left before we go into this
I'll go back.
painting by Zia.
There we go.
Okay, now Zia's holding it. Nope,
No, I can't hold.
you can't
it.
hold it. Okay.
Hold it.
So what you're seeing is the drawing on the left is Neal. The painting that you're seeing up close now is by Zia. But it is based off of that drawing that was originally done by Neal. And what we'll do on Friday is we'll break this apart that you can see both.
And then also do close-ups of the painting.
Right.
So you can do that space.
Right. Well, I think what you need is 1 and 2 separate,
well,
so you
I
see
was kind
them.
of in a rush because I was.
Right. Okay. So we'll bring this back Friday in a better way. Sorry about that, guys. Did you want to do Jason's
Sure.
statue? Okay, so Jason also came in with a different statue. We showed one of his Tarzan statues last Wednesday, and
Did he give us a price for this one?
I believe it's on the sheet he gave me. At least I hope so.
I hope so too.
Okay, so this is his William Stout Cutie Pies. This is Dino Girl. This is a painted statue sculpted by Jason Spider Adams. There we go. So William Stout Dino Girl can't talk anymore. Statue sculpted by Jason. It says the same thing I just read. One of them is Dino Girl, which Real Art Studios licensed to produce as a statue and hired Jason to sculpt it. These are painted statues. They do not have Stout's signature, but Jason's happy to sign the base if you request. There are 20 of these available, and the price on it is $100. So this is based on William Stout's work, which actually I believe that is William Stout's work there on the box when Zia gets off the statue rotation here. Neal thought these were great. He really liked this statue a lot. And Jason is now on with us. So that is the box. That is the drawing that this was based on. The price of this is $100. Jason will sign the base of the statue. He usually signs the underneath part of the statue. And it's not a big statue, so it's nice in that it's not going to take up tons of room. She stands about 7.5, and her width is about 7. So she's about 7.5 by 7. She's a nice size statue. I don't know if you guys like William Stout's work. Neal was a real fan of William Stout's dinosaur book because he was up at Continuity right when that book got published, and Neal was just loving everything that was in there.
The anatomy.
And doing the very proud papa to William Stout.
Right.
Yep, Jason does a lot of texture work on it. We've got little tiny scales up on the top in the head part of the dinosaur. So think about that, guys. There's a possibility on our Weird Wednesdays where we do a little bit more than just Neal. We did Pete's find of cool comics that have kind of come and gone that people don't even talk about anymore, but have interesting things.
Happy Towers is claiming
going to
one.
claim one.
All right.
Okay, Happy Towers. Jason will be very happy to sign that for you. And I'm sure Jason will say Happy Towers, thank you.
And Phil Henriquez, yes, Jason did do one based on Going Ape. We showed that
last Wednesday.
Right.
That is also available.
I think that one was $300. I'm not
I
mistaken.
can go get
Right
it.
there.
Yeah. this is the statue that
These are all traditional hand sculpting, no computer mambo jumbo. We do the mumbo jumbo.
this is Jason's grade 8 one that Phil was talking about.
It's a jumbo mambo.
Mambo jumbo.
That is 200. They're normally 300, but we're doing a sale for 200. So the grade 8 statue, which is what I just put out there, that is 200 to buy. That stands about, I would say, 10 inches. It's probably 10 by 8.
And was I right on the price? 300?
No.
It was 300, but Jason made it 200.
Yeah.
And Happy Towers, thank you so much for buying the William Stout one. And Army said for Pete, great article on Rudy Nebres on Bleeding Cool, recommended reading.
Oh, nice.
And Phil is asking if the Tarzan is signed by Neal on the bottom.
I don't think
Those may be the ones that they pre-signed.
Oh, wait a minute. It does
Yeah.
have Dad's signature. Thanks, Phil. You're so smart. So, yes, these are signed by Neal. I think you should take my job, Phil. This is signed by Neal. It is also signed by Jason in the base. So Phil is correct on this. And Jason had said something like, they say limited to 700, but only 500 were made. Phil is going to buy a Tarzan.
All right.
Thank you, Phil. That you know what that means, Jason? That means that I have to blow now a big
bomb.
Which means you have to come here tomorrow and clean it.
Yeah.
Okay, so Phil is going to take the
Tarzan going 8.
right, and that was 200. Okay, so thanks, Sam. That was nice. Sending the love for sure.
Why is it that Sam gets booted off of pages and
I
websites
don't
again?
know why Sam gets booted off of things. Okay, so this is for Phil and
Happy
Towers for buying
Cover your
Jason's. Yeah, put your fingers in yours.
Oh, and she aimed it at Rich's area.
Oh well. I'm not cleaning till tomorrow.
Nope. Gonna go throw these at G.
Don't
for
throw
it.
them at Jade.
Don't go for it. Jade's terrified of butterflies. It's
No. Okay, so is there anything that anybody wants to see for Weird Wednesday? I really have a great night owl here for 600. Phil says, I would work for free at continuity. I would be useless staring at everything but for free. Phil, you're more than welcome to take my place, and I can go on vacation finally.
And Jason says he has more than one of each of the statues, so if anybody else would like to order, you're welcome to do so.
Jason has his own website, which is Spida, which is
Spider Creations.
YDAcreations.com.
Like duh.
Yeah, you just have to say it like Spida, and then you spell it right. Okay, I am going to show the throw kill. Andrew is now also doing my job, and Andrew's going to come and do my second week of vacation.
Okay.
It's great now. I have replacements. I can go.
Outstanding.
Here we go. I'm going to pull
Phil
out.
says he would be a great guest seller.
If you
Yeah,
guys-
you wouldn't want to sell anything. You'd want to take it home. You
If you
talking.
guys want to be guest sellers, I'm all for that.
Right, how much was Thrill Kill again?
Okay, Thrill Kill was 100. Because it's really what you're paying for his dad's signature. So, okay. So it comes with this really nice, it's a hard folder. And I wouldn't say it's embossed. It's not embossed.
Texture?
Not really textured. It's just printed on there. It opens.
And it flops, so tilt the back of it. There you go. There you go.
It has obviously what you're buying information wise is over here. That was from Warren. It's drawn by Neal. It was
That is
written-
not a signed one, though.
Okay, I grabbed one that wasn't signed. Oh my
This
god!
must be our display copy.
This is probably my display copy. Every once in a while, Dad does miss one,
Mm,
and then he does oops occasionally. So inside is original art size pages of Thrill Kill from Warren Publishing. This was drawn, pencil, and ink by Neal, and it was written by Jim Stenstrom. The guy who is the guy with the rifle in his story is a artist in the comic field himself, who's moved on to commercial work, who actually sat and posed photographs for Neal to use for this. He's actually one of the crusty bunkers. So what it has is it has all of the originals from the story in print form.
right, and these are printed with all the stains and ding-dangs and everything
Right.
that is
So this
on the
is kind of
originals.
like pre-gallery book before Scott started doing gallery books.
Do you have any of the original photos? Oh, the reference photos.
No. Nope. So, and Andrea got one of these. I know Andrea was very much happy in getting this.
Happy Towers loved it.
Yep, this is a story, where Pete just did comic books that have kind of come and gone that people may not have noticed at the time, but had a value out there. This is a story that is a hard story to take. It's about a mass shooting before we started doing mass shootings all the time in the world that we currently live in. This was done a while ago. I don't know what year this was originally done. I don't know if it says.
60.
Who was the reference for the shooter?
Now his name, Paul Kirshner. It was originally done in 2012, or was this done in 2012? I can't read upside down.
That was probably printed in
Let's see.
the folio. Because Thrill Kill is way older than that.
Yeah, Thrill Kill is very much older than that. I don't know what year Thrill Kill was done in.
It was before he started working at Dead Man, so I want to say 66, 67.
No, because he had continuity.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's Warren.
And this is later.
Okay.
This isn't early Warren work. This is
Okay.
later
All
Warren
right.
work. But in any case, this is kind of like the precursor of the gallery book. And it's really nice art by Neal as usual. And Andrea is now telling you to zoom your camera, Zia.
Well, it's hard because as soon as I zoom in and I get focus and Chris moves.
This is a cranky group tonight.
Phil Henriquez says creepy 75.
Right. Thank you, Phil.
This isn't cooperating.
It's always my fault.
Well, because they see me like zoom in on something and then you turn it around. That's why I love your stands, because you put it down and I have a chance at like keeping it in focus and all.
Oh, I'm not moving it ever again. I'm gonna be like this on Friday.
Happy Towers says poor Chris.
Friday night, I'm gonna be like this, holding these exact pages like this. So this package is 100 to buy. It does come signed by Neal. Unfortunately, I found one that is not signed by Neal. But they do come signed by Neal. Neal signs traditionally down here on the folder case. We're just channeling Neal. Yes, I know. It's exactly what Neal would be screaming.
No, that's what Dad would do. He'd turn it around.
Well, that's true. You would love me after that.
Mm-hmm.
So
we'd be shooting, and this would be the comic, and Dad would be showing it. Yeah, because there's these really great pages in here. Oh yeah, this is blah blah blah. I'm like, we're like,
yeah,
Dad, we can't
Dad,
see.
you wouldn't even see the pages. He'd be like, I really loved when we did this panel. This panel was really like what I did here.
That's your dad.
That is my dad. All right, guys. So I think we're gonna say goodnight. Wow, it even came the little paper seal and all of Dad's little sticky masking tape stuff all over the place on these. In any case, we will be back on Friday night. We will have definitely more pan and scans. We're going to leave a little bit earlier tonight just because of the weather conditions and getting everybody home early enough. So if there's problems, there's other ways of getting home still.
I brought my skates.
Zia brought her skates. I want to say last night, because our door is an upward hill to our door. And when we got to the door, I got the key in the door and opened the door. As we were pulling the door, we were both sliding down the hill because there was an ice path right up to the door. So that was a little bit fun last night in the skating arena.
I think you guys need to mount a handle to the wall.
Yeah,
next
so you
to
can
the
hold
door
on to pull the door. So we're going to say goodnight. Thanks for buying Jason's statues tonight. I'm sure Jason appreciates that a lot. And he will be signing them if they need to be. I guess the William Stout piece probably needs a signature.
Yeah.
So we'll get those signed. We'll get them out to you guys. And thanks again for joining us tonight. Friday night, we're back in our normal way where we don't do weird stuff. We only do Batman. No, I'm teasing. We even still have weird stuff on Friday. But we will have more pan and scans and stuff like that. And we'll be a little bit more together than we were tonight. And I want to say thank you. Everybody stay safe and
thank
warm.
you to Petey for joining us today.
And thanks, Petey, for bringing us. And he's busy looking at his watch.
Checking to see when it's time to go home.
Just thank you for bringing in the Jezebel Jade.
Right.
And,
Adam Kubert's great.
I thought it was amazing that he drew those border things on every page. It was pretty cool.
Yep.
And in some ways, I liked them and the story that was going on up there
Who cares
better
about the story?
Better than the pages that were themselves, even though the pages were good. So
They
don't want to
were
get a
good.
phone call from Adam tomorrow. So
God damn it.
All right, guys. See you Friday. Thanks a lot. And everybody take care. Bye-bye. And happy birthday, Andrea.
Bye.